All right, welcome back to part three, emotions and moods so we're analyzing Tinkerbell from the lens of organizational behavior. The first emotion we're going to talk about is stress. And so stress is a person's adaptive response to a stimulus that places excessive psychological or physical demands on them. So there's two types. There's distress and eustress. Distress is typically the one that we think about when we think about stress. So this would be the stress that we feel when we're not able to get something done. There's absolutely no way it's going to work out. And we're just like grasping at straws trying to make it work. So we feel super stressed, and it actually can harm how well we perform at the things that we're doing. Eustress is the good stress. So that's like when you're stressed about a test, but it motivates you to study really well, or assignment is due, and so it spurs you into getting things done and to doing things well. So in the Tinkerbell franchise, we see Tinkerbell use both distress and eustress at different times throughout the series. My examples are both from the very first movie. Distress is while she's trying to catch the sprinting thistles, and she is just grasping at straws, trying to do everything she can. The thistles run right over all of her right over her corral for them and runs through everything, and she can't do anything to stop it. She's just trying to do everything. She's very stressed out, and it doesn't help her at all. And we see her have eustress before that, when she doesn't get to go to the mainland, and she takes steps to figure out how to make it happen. She's very motivated because she's very stressed in a good way about the fact she doesn't get to go. So it's helping her perform better to try to get to go. Some other emotions that we're going to talk about is joy. So joy boosts morale and productivity. That's one of the reasons that they probably have lots of events and a theater and everything in Pixie Hollow. It helps them perform better. We see this when she brings back the Moonstone in Tinkerbell and the Lost Treasure. Her and Terrence fly back in on the balloon, and everyone is cheering and so happy, and the Moonstone revitalizes the pixie dust tree, and they say, "Oh, we've never seen this much." It really brings good morale to the work atmosphere. Another one that we see in the movies is anger. It disrupts harmony and creates tension. It does not aid collaboration and can overall decrease productivity in a workplace. Vidia's actions when she's so the reason Vidia even put Tinkerbell up to the sprinting thistle thing is because before this there was a hawk that Tinkerbell actually accidentally led into Pixie Hollow, and hawks are one of the main predators of fairies. So this hawk is chasing Tinkerbell everywhere. Everyone's hiding, and she accidentally goes into Vidia's hiding spot and pushes her out on accident because there's like a slide thing that puts her out below the hawk, and the hawk is about to eat Vidia, but then everyone throws fruit at it and it flies away. But in all this, Vidia gets covered in fruit juice and everyone's laughing at her, so she's very angry at Tinkerbell for this. So because of this, it creates that tension between her and Tinkerbell, and it's what causes her to send her after the thistles, which obviously we know destroys spring. Sadness lowers motivation and focus. And we can see sadness, we can see sadness when Tinkerbell first realizes that she doesn't get to go to the mainland. She's not working very hard at her job, and she's just kind of going through the motions of putting together some pots and kettles, and she's just not working quickly or happily. Very unproductive work. Creativity drives innovation and problem solving. Tinkerbell's whole job is innovation and problem solving as a tinker. She's creating different things that other talents can use to make their jobs go better. So we saw earlier that she made a flower sprayer that they end up actually using to paint ladybug wings. And that is an innovation that's new. And then disappointing, demotivating. Again, I was going to talk about how when she was super disappointed about going to the mainland, she's disappointed, she's sad, and she's just not doing well at her job. And then on top of that, she just stops even working at her job because she wants to do a different job so that she can go to the mainland. So that's definitely an unproductive way to spend her time. Then we're going to talk about mood. So affectivity is our tendency to experience a particular mood. Tinkerbell has a very high tendency to be frustrated and angry, as opposed to Terrence, her friend, who we saw in one of the earlier clips in my previous videos. Terrence is much more level-headed than Tinkerbell is, so Tinkerbell has a higher tendency for those poor emotions, which would be a negative effect. Positive effect is a combination of high energy and positive evaluation and has good emotions associated with it. When Tinkerbell is happy, she seems to be very happy, but not as over the top as when she has those negative emotions. Negative effects are feelings of being upset, fearful, distressed, some of the other things we've already talked about. Most of the characters within the Tinkerbell franchise do spend time in both of these areas, whether they're worried and scared and fearful, or whether they're super happy and excited about something that has happened because they did something successfully. And then they also spend time in the neutral zone. The book really emphasized that these are not just a spectrum, like they're actually two separate dimensions, but then in the middle is like kind of a neutral zone. So there's positive, negative, and neutral. The character that I used to give an example of these three zones would be Rosetta. When she finds out that she had her hair fried in Tinkerbell and the Pirate Fairy, she is very distressed and upset about it. She very much cares about her appearance, and the back of her hair had like a cut through it because it was burned off by Fawn. And she was just very unhappy in that time. A time that she was really happy is when she met a winter fairy that she thought was very attractive, and he walks off with her, and she's so happy that her knees are weak and she like slides to the ground. It's really cute. And then a time that she's more neutral is when she sees Tinkerbell tinkering, and she is pretty happy for her, but it's definitely sitting more in that neutral zone. And she says, I'm not going to teach you to be a garden fairy because this is your talent. And then I'll see you in the next video for part 4, personalities and values.